short moments from now of the aircraft receiving their ceremonial hosing down from a water hose. You'll just see those beautiful images of the first Rafale being hosed down, which is a kind of ceremonial ritual. Take a look. Let's listen into this beautiful image. This is a salute for the incoming Rafales, ladies and gentlemen. You can see the two fire trucks with those high-pressure water hoses creating that water arc. It's a water cannon salute as the Indian Air Force Rafales make their way under that water arc. It's a ceremonial welcome accorded to aircraft of this kind, and the Rafales have just received the same. First images exclusive to India today, right here, as the 5 Rafales have just touched down. You can see one passing through that water arc. You can see another behind it and another off to the right. So one by one they pass under that water arc. It's a water cannon salute. It's a ceremonial ritual for new aircraft. And remember, rituals of this kind are extremely important because fighter pilots and those who live at air bases are very, very particular about rituals of this kind because they carry a lot of meaning. Military aviation is a dangerous business. Military aviation is a risky business. It is inherently, something that makes persons involved in it live on the edge. And therefore, rituals of well-being, rituals of happy landings, rituals of goodwill are always taken very, very seriously at air bases, not just in India, but all around the world. And this is a ceremonial water cannon salute for India's brand new warbirds, the Rafales. This is at the Ambala Air Force Station. These are not live images. These are images that came in just a short while ago. And these are the Rafales getting their first salam from India. Indian Air Force Chief, Air Chief Marshal Bhadoria is at the Ambala Airbase. He will not only have seen these pictures firsthand, but has likely already met the pilots and the squadron commander, of course, of the 17th Squadron already. But I'm going to bring in Gaurav Sawant. I'm going to ask our producers if we have Abhishek Bhalla. Abhishek Bhalla is with us. Abhishek, take us through the importance of the water cannon salute that's taking place. These images on our screens right now for the Rafales.
Well, great picture, Shiv, and once again an old tradition. Whenever there is a new induction, it's and it lands, you have this water cannon salute, and obviously this was expected once the Rafale touched down. After that, obviously, the pilots who brought the aircraft from Mérignac in France were greeted by Air Force Chief RKS Bhadoria, who was himself there to welcome them. A very proud moment for the pilots who were flying the fighter aircraft. And now that they are here, obviously a sense of relief. It was a long journey starting from Mérignac first to UAE, which took them about 7 hours. Not easy to be in that little cockpit for so long. And after that, they took a day's halt, and finally earlier today, they took off from UAE and have touched down upon Ambala about 20-25 minutes ago. And it was a big moment, a great sight when we spotted the Rafales just before landing above the Air Force base in Ambala. And those pictures were captured live by Anil Jaiswal, our camera person. And it was a big moment, not just for the Indian Air Force, but all of us journalists who were waiting here, since early this morning when hectic activities started. There was a lot of anticipation once the Rafale lands, it would be a great moment. And finally, that's happened. From here onwards, obviously, the more important and strategic and operational issues will take over once the emotions have sort of sobered down. And I can tell you, there is a lot of euphoria among so many of us, but that's not the case with the people who have a job at hand to do. The Indian Air Force pilots, the maintenance staff, and all the ground crew is focusing now to make sure that the Rafale is completely ready. In fact, the Indian Air Force in its statement earlier has categorically stated that the pilots and all the crew is completely trained and ready for operations, and very soon we'll see the Rafale in action.
We'll see the Rafale in action very soon. You know, it's great to hear that, Abhishek, because these images are being watched by viewers all across the country. You know, there are, for every person out there trying to be cynical and saying this is overhype and you're, providing too much commentary and live coverage of this situation, it's not going to change anything. I want to remind everyone that for every one of those people, there are at least 1 million out there who are saying, no, I'm very interested because my taxes have paid for these aircraft. These are aircraft that have been, purchased with a great deal of effort, resources, money, and therefore we would like to know what's happening with them. We do want to see their images. We care about our pilots. We care about the fact that these aircraft will possibly have to go into harm's way to protect India's sovereignty and integrity. And therefore, India Today wants to send out that message to cynics. Please keep your cynicism. Cynicism has no place on a day like today, because remember, there are families of pilots also watching. This is an occasion to not just celebrate the arrival of modern equipment, but also the amazing job that our pilots do. It's a reminder, when we see aircraft like these landing, it's a reminder that the Indian Air Force continues to operate very old aircraft because it has no choice. This same squadron, ladies and gentlemen, the 17th Squadron, the Golden Arrows, has operated MiG-21s just a few years ago, and the aircraft squadron has now been revived to now operate the Rafale. That's the kind of perspective we want to give to you. And there are families of pilots watching and who will be heartened to know that newer, safer planes are entering service. These are modern fighters which are highly more reliable than many of the things that the Indian Air Force has operated in the past.